A very good morning, it's Fabio and welcome back to another daily market update where I discuss the major dollar pairs and the potential trade opportunities. Now, I want to dive into Euro USD, but before I do that, today at 2:30 Central Eastern Time, so on the New York Open, we are going live here on YouTube. I'll drop a link to the live stream in the comment section of this video. Furthermore, my stop loss got hit on both AU and NU, so I'll break those setups down in this video that you're currently watching as well. And without further ado, let's just dive straight in. So Euro USD here is moving extremely choppy as of this week. We can see that we've been pushing in towards the highs. However, what has happened is that we've seen a 4-hour fractal break in towards the downside, pretty much confirming that this 4-hour imbalance candle is now your area of supply, and that is currently suppressing price. Now, longs are currently not interesting. Shorts, in my opinion, not interesting as well. Why? Well, because we still have equal highs open over here to our left. I would preferably want to see those equal highs get taken out before looking for any potential shorts in towards the downside. Furthermore, we have tariff news coming out tomorrow at 3 p.m. Washington time zone. So Trump is going to be speaking on his tariffs. And this is currently causing a lot of uncertainty within the market. Now, we're seeing that Euro USD is pretty much just stuck within this overall piece of price action that we have over here and not really moving anywhere. If we, for example, look at a different pair, let's say AUD JPY, what you're going to see is a big sell-off in towards the downside as the current sentiment within the market is mainly focused on risk off, okay? And risk off, I refer to, for example, strength for the Japanese yen, strength for the Swiss franc, strength for the euro. If you, for example, also look at, let's say, a Euro AUD, you can see that Euro AUD has also been flying in towards the upside and really has been neglecting the overall areas of supply. Furthermore, we've also seen a sell-off on stocks. However, stocks have been rebounding, especially if we look at the UK. You can currently see that on the 4-hour chart, we've made around a 1.6% pushback in towards the highs. If we look at, for example, the Dutch stock index as well, we can also see an overall sell-off of around 3.2%, but since this morning we have been buying back up in towards the highs. However, is this a temporary kind of like rebound on the markets or of the markets? I am not sure. We're going to have to wait for Wednesday, in my opinion, hence why I'm personally staying out of the markets for now. But what we're seeing here on euro dollar is overall just a consolidated price action. Shorts are definitely possible in towards the downside once again, as the daily fractal structure first to begin with is still bearish. So let's just keep the overall analysis very simple. If we look at the weekly time frame here, what has happened? On the weekly time frame, we grab liquidity above this overall area of supply. So those stop losses get hit, which is pretty much a good potential sign for further downside. If we look at the daily time frame, we can see the daily overall fractal structure is bearish as well. From where? From this high in towards this low over here. The market has now made a retracement in towards the upside, in towards where? In towards the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level based on the daily fractal structure. So based on the daily fractal, it makes sense for the market to still rebound a little bit down lower. Overall, looking as well at the overall swing, there is of course still room for it to push where? Well, in towards the 0.5 Fib, which is pretty much down below over here. So there is still room for your USD to fall down lower. Again, we do need to understand that it is going to be very based on what is going to be said Wednesday. If there is like a worldwide tariff imposement, or Trump is going to impose tariffs on literally every single country in the world, and he's going to make a very big thing out of it, then we are going to see a lot of strength from the dollar. If this is not the case, then we could definitely see a rebound or a further push higher on Euro USD, on AUD USD, on NZD USD, but it is all going to be dependent on Wednesday 3 p.m. so tomorrow 3 p.m. Washington time. Okay, so that's currently what I'm waiting for before taking in these new positions, because until then I do not really expect any big moves, especially also not from Euro USD. But yeah, overall for euro dollar, I mean, the daily fractal is bearish, the 4 hours fractal bearish, so shorts are pretty much the only thing that makes sense. Also, if we look here at the 4-hour time frame, we can also see on the 4-hour, the fractal is bearish from this high in towards this low. Again, we make a 0.5 Fib retracement. So yeah, I mean, in that retrospect, it does make sense for it to continue down lower from a technical perspective and take out all of this trendline liquidity that we have over here. Okay, so let's see what the dollar index is doing, because the dollar index overall, as you know, was moving bearish yesterday. I still have the same drawing on from yesterday's chart. We can see that after grabbing this liquidity over here, which we mentioned yesterday, that we indeed saw that V-shaped reversal in towards the highs, breaking the overall 4-hour fractal structure. To make it nice and clean for you guys, again, what I just need you to understand here is that we swipe all of the buy side liquidity above this high. And then what happens is that we broke this 4-hour fractal low. So this 4-hour fractal low is the low because it broke this high over here. So we break this 4-hour fractal low, then again we break the 4-hour fractal low, then again we break the 4-hour fractal low. But with this kind of like last push, what happens, we take out liquidity underneath this low over here. Or which low was it? Suddenly the low hasn't been taken, whilst yesterday it was taken. But let's just focus then. Okay, this is strange. I think the data feed changed because yesterday it was grabbed. But let's say overall we grab the liquidity underneath these two lows over here. What happens, we see the V-shaped reversal in towards the highs, breaking this 4-hour fractal high. Now, that means to me that this overall sell before the buy is your area of demand. And as you can then see, we indeed tap into that demand zone and then push out higher again. So for now, the dollar index is looking bullish. We still have a lot of trendline liquidity to get taken out. So it does make sense for the immediate buys on the dollar to be bullish on the short term. So let's see what the effects are. Longer term, I am still bearish on the dollar, but obviously we're doing a daily market update here. So focusing on the immediate market structure, yes, this does look bullish. Grabbing liquidity, 4-hour fractal structure shift, a demand zone, open liquidity on the highs as well. And looking and zooming out, there's obviously still room for it to push where? To push up higher in towards the overall 0.5 fib or into one of these higher areas of supply. Again, do please keep in mind, tomorrow we have that Trump news coming out, or the news on the tariffs, and that is going to heavily influence the dollar index. So we need to be cautious with kind of like relying on technical analysis, because it can just be invalidated the next second by those fundamentals coming out. But overall, it is looking good to push up higher here at the dollar index. Now, looking at AUD USD, I took an SL on AUD USD, as you guys know, happens part of the game. 2% or minus 2% for myself, both a loss on AU and NU. For myself, a perfectly valid setup. Just to give you guys some backstory on why I took this. Overall, on the daily time frame to begin with, we had a nice liquidity grab if we zoom out of this low over here. So we see the initial kind of like manipulation happening around those lows. So what happens, we get the initial reaction up, breaking market structure. Then what happened is that we grab liquidity one more time underneath the lows here again. And then we saw the real reversal in towards the highs. So for me, that was a bullish sign. Here we break the market structure. To me, that then means that, okay, here we now have the overall swing. What happened is that we retraced into where? Into discount. And then from there, again, we saw some manipulation with a swipe of the initial low that was formed there. And then we saw a strong buy in towards the highs, retracement, strong buys in towards the highs. And then I was looking for this overall area of demand, to push the market up higher again. It failed. Overall, I was very happy with the setup and I would take it any day of the week. Overall here, looking at the weekly is still fractal bullish. We're still inside weekly demand zone here. And we're still at the weekly 0.5 fib / discount. So I'm still interested in looking for those buys on AU, in my opinion. But again, the tariff news is currently really hitting AU very hard. Overall, I might be looking for just some very simple swing buys in towards the upside with my stop loss underneath around 0.61, targeting a setup like this. So this is also one of the swing positions that I already have in, which I am in already from around here. So it's currently running at around break even, but I'm looking for a setup like this on AU again. Overall, the biggest piece of confirmation will come once we see a daily fractal structure shift. So where is that daily fractal structure shift? That is on the high of this bearish candle over here. So I'm currently just waiting actually for, let's say, a lower time frame setup. I would need this high to break, so this dotted line, wait for the retracement, because then this sell before the buy becomes your demand zone from where you could look for more longs in towards the upside. Otherwise, what could happen is that we could just, of course, continue selling down lower, as this is currently the supply zone that is in control. So we need the supply flow to break and we need demand to be created, and that is currently not the case yet. So if you want the high probability buys, then wait for that. Currently not really looking at sells. We're at a key level here still of support, in my opinion, and resistance. A lot of manipulation going on here. Also, if you would view this as an area of consolidation, you can see that we're kind of stuck at the 0.5 fib here as well, and naturally that is again a 0.5 fib kind of like manipulation level or level of support and resistance. So keep a good eye here on AU. I do see a potential rebound incoming, but again, it will be dependent on the news of tomorrow. If the news of tomorrow is not as bad as people assume, and we do see indeed kind of like a rebound of the overall, let's say, risk on market. So we see stocks going up, we see crypto going up, and then we also see AUD and NZD go up. Then I'll be looking for long positions once we break this dotted line here, and then I'll be going on to the 4-hour time frame and looking for those longs. But for now, there's just no real setup here available on AU. Going into GU, I mentioned yesterday that there were potential longs on GBP USD. If we look here at GU, we can see that the daily fractal structure is still bullish in between this low and this high. Overall, what happened is that we again retraced into the 0.5 fib yesterday, and I was looking for further upside. Overall, I mean, the 4-hour is still bullish. And yeah, it still makes sense to push up higher. However, again, like, it's consolidating, and this is why I really just don't like trading these pairs. The whole market, guys, the whole market is waiting for tomorrow. Like, I can give you like some kind of technical analysis and say this is going to happen, that's going to happen, and probably there are people who think they know it all. But in a market like this, it's very hard to kind of like know it all, or to actually, let's say, it's more like gambling, because anything can be said and anything can happen, literally. So you need to understand that, okay, we can rely on the overall technical analysis here, which to me says the 4-hour fractal structure is bullish from this dotted line low here to this high over here, and we're now at discount levels. If you want the high probability setup, then wait for the 1-hour structure to shift, because for now, again, if you look here at the 1-hour time frame, the 1-hour supply is in control here. Then again, the 1-hour supply is in control here as well. So you would need to wait for that supply zone to get broken. So for this blue line high to get broken, and only then would you have potential for longs, because until then, shorts are currently still in control. Okay. But yeah, I mean, at any point in time, could we rebound back up higher due to the fact that the market is just consolidating? So this is not a market that I want to be trading in. You can also see here, if we draw in the range trading tool and we make the lines a little bit thicker, you're going to be able to see that the 25% mark is the buying zone and the 75% mark is your selling zone. So as simple as this. This is happening on GU at the moment. For now, immediate market structure, kind of like, if we do look at it from a technical perspective on the lower time frame, it's bearish. On the higher time frame, it is bullish. So yeah, this is the daily fractal structure, and it makes sense to push up higher, but I'll be waiting until tomorrow before taking a new position here on GU. But I am interested in longs, but the immediate lower time frame setup is bearish. Okay, if we look at that 1-hour time frame. So if you are in shorts, yeah, looks good to hold. Do keep in mind that we're kind of like nearing the lower bound of the overall range. Going into NZD USD, on NU, I took a loss as well. Looking here, for me, again, it was a very nice setup overall. I was happy taking it. Overall, it still looks good to potentially buy up higher, but I'll be looking at maybe a little bit lower levels before getting involved again, kind of like around 0.56 before getting into like a new swing position. Overall, on the weekly, it is just very, very choppy at the moment. There's not a lot going on. Daily time frame as well, it's ranging. The market is not favoring those risk on pairs at the moment. So it's just good to stay out of NU for now until further notice. What I'll be waiting for here on NU is to see, okay, we grab liquidity underneath these two lows. The overall immediate market structures from this low to this high. As long as this low here is respected, I'm still interested in getting involved with buys, but I'll be waiting for, let's say, either this area of consolidation to get broken and then get in on the retest, or what I'll do is I'll wait for the 4-hour to really provide me with some more clear price action. An example could be, let's say, this 4-hour demand zone that we have over here, maybe a tap in towards there, or even this 4-hour demand zone that we have here could obviously also do the trick. We can see yesterday that that is what pushed the market up higher. Again, I don't randomly just start buying from a demand zone. What I'll be waiting for is for this low to get swept, and then, for example, for the double fractal break to happen, and then I'll get in on the second demand zone. That for me is now the plan. If we do, let's say, suddenly start buying up again, wait for this 4-hour fractal high to go. There are a lot of equal highs open here, which I would still like to get taken out in the near future, but I'm waiting again for tomorrow and the news to happen. So I'm favoring those long positions still on NU, but I'm going to be waiting for my right moment to strike and to see what happens on the tariff side of things. Because again, if Trump announces that he's going to do tariffs on China and this and that and that, then we could just see a nuke candle in towards the downside. So do keep that in mind. But overall, if there is nothing really too heavy mentioned in yesterday's speech, then I'll be waiting for exactly what I just explained. Now, going into USD yen and of course gold. Last of all, USD JPY sold off again in the anticipation that those risk on pairs are doing well, or risk off pairs, excuse me. So the Japanese yen is performing pretty well this week, kind of like, yeah, in the anticipation that those tariffs are going to be imposed. Looking here at the 4-hour time frame, overall what you want to be looking at is this 4-hour supply zone. Here we have the initial liquidity high, so wait for that high to get taken out and then look for the 1-hour change of character for a potential short opportunity. Then if we look at gold again pushed up higher, as I mentioned yesterday. The only thing you need to do is buy. Reason being is, again, people are uncertain of what the markets are doing, so people are putting their money into, for example, gold, as they see as a store of value. So that is now the situation. For now, again, what happened yesterday is indeed that we saw liquidation wick. Remember what I mentioned yesterday, look for all those lows to get swiped and then look for the reversal up higher. Well, that happened, as we can see over here with this wick, and that's then when the real reversal happens. And all I can say is, like, pretty much want to be doing the same. Obviously, we're kind of like inside of the consolidation again, and you're seeing an initial reaction, but you would preferably want to see at least this low get swiped before looking for any longs again on gold. So look for that manipulation, excuse me, and then look for those long positions. Okay, so that's it for today, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you with the New York session, and have an amazing trading day. Thanks.